Hello and welcome to Battle of the Ports, and a game that should have had 5 versions released but ended up with 3. This is Eurocom and Burst Studios' Spot Goes to Hollywood, which was first released on the Mega Drive in Europe on November 22nd, 1995. You play as Spot, the mascot for 7-Up in most countries, in his second video game outing. This time for some reason Spot has become trapped in a movie projector. As he jumps from film to film, he encounters many classic film genres. These make up the various levels of the game. In this Mega Drive version of the game, the main levels are a pirate movie, a horror movie, an adventure movie, and a sci-fi movie. In later versions of the game, a western movie and a dinosaur movie were added. As you've probably noticed, Spot Goes to Hollywood is an isometric platformer, and you know what that means, right? Yep, ass backwards controls. Or at least for some people. Next up is the Super Nintendo version that never got released. There are 2 known prototype versions of this game out there, with this being the more complete version. The stage designs are quite different to the Mega Drive original, yet very familiar. There's also a few new areas as well. Since this version is quite early in production, we can't really comment on the choppy animation, small gameplay window and poor stage design. But we can make a comment that this version was most likely not going to be any better than the Mega Drive original when it comes to controlling Spot, as the exact same control options are also featured in this game. Besides the unreleased Super Nintendo version, there is also this unreleased Sega 32X port as well. You're probably thinking that this doesn't look much different than the Mega Drive version, but there are differences in areas such as added colour, shadows and water effects. Plus there's a cool additional Space Harrier like 3D bonus round that unfortunately only lets you play for a few seconds before deciding that the stage has completed. Sadly, this version of Spot Goes to Hollywood, despite apparently being 90% complete from various net articles, is missing a lot of the graphic tile data, resulting in some areas being unplayable or close to being unplayable. I'm also disappointed that the audio is 100% identical to the Mega Drive version. Overall, this is a nice upgrade to the standard Mega Drive game, but is it really what a 32X was made for? PlayStation next with an all-new introduction and full-on facelift to the game. But is it any better than the 16-bit versions or 32X version? Well, you could argue that it does look better and most definitely sounds better. We also get 3 control methods being ISO A or B, basically the controls are set to the diagonal directions, or arcade controls which are more in line with the 16-bit versions of the game. The thing is, all the control options suck, even more than they previously did. The game is also much more difficult with only 3 hits per life, yet with more tightly packed levels to navigate. This is mostly due to enemies being larger, yet stage design doesn't seem to take this into account most of the time. Yeah, Spot Goes to Hollywood on the PlayStation isn't much fun.
Avast our mateys as ye enter the world of pirates beware, for no one returns who has ventured in there.
Finally, let's end with the Saturn version. What we have here is basically identical to the PlayStation, apart from the transparent warps now being some sort of line effect. Well, maybe not just that. The Saturn version does control better, but I'm putting that down to the actual Saturn controller rather than the game. And I don't mean that horrid US controller that Europe also got during the launch of the Saturn. I'm talking about the sexy Japanese controller. The best gamepad ever made. Yeah, I said it. Anyway, even with better controls, this is still a pretty bad game that has all the same faults as the PlayStation version. take a look at all those versions of Spot Goes to Hollywood running side by side.